explaining a lot of the things that karmically you've gone through, as well as your personality and the choices that you've made because of that. And oh. And so that's what I want to cover as well, and we're gonna hopefully have enough time for that. But it feels like things are coming together for you more than ever now that you are, I would say, halfway through to what are you? You're 30, right? You're 30, right? So I
word to Danny Brown.
Yeah, in so many respects, 30 is kind of like the I would just say the adult, like that. You just hit the adult right there. Because when you were in your 20s, you're still exploring, is still establishing, your like life path. And now at 30, you're just like, okay, I already know what to do. I really know what I want to do. What do I want to create? What's my purpose? Things like that. And so that's why I was just like, oh my God, this is kind of perfect because, in the Aztec astrology, it's going to have more of a thoroughness when it comes to where you're at in life right now. So, yeah. I told
That's my attitude. Like even while I was 29, the Gemini in me was like, "This is your last year to be an irresponsible, reckless douchebag." Because once we're 30, we're an adult. We can't do this anymore.
It's more like an established actual solid foundation, and because of going through different routes and learning new things and exploring aspects of yourself through other people as well as through knowledge gaining. Now it's more about like putting it into practice. It's kind of like you become the teacher. And so before you were the student and now you're the teacher. You're the one teaching things and helping others actually learn more about themselves too, explore themselves too. So that's pretty accurate to what the Aztec astrology was actually saying about you. So
No way.
yeah. So I'm gonna start. So for anybody who is watching, Aztec astrology is based on the Aztec calendars, and there's two of them that we work with. It is the Supohuali, which is the sacred calendar. It is comprised of 365 days with a breakdown of 18 months. And within the 18 months, it's only 20 days that comprise the 18 months. This one is called the sacred calendar because the Aztecs used it for knowing when to do festivals, rituals, as well as seasonal changes. The Aztecs were not the only people who used this calendar. The Mayans, but they called it a different name. They called it the Zolkin. And then, of course, other indigenous peoples from Mesoamerica used it as well. So this is just coming from a different perspective as well as different name. Okay, the Aztecs are called or considered the Mexica tribe of Mexico, and they are not from Mexico City originally. They came from a different location, and according to the Aztec cosmology, they were guided to Mexico City to establish the empire there by their main god, Huitzilopochtli, who is a god of war. And it's pretty much a solar deity as well. So supposedly they were guided by this god, and then they found Mexico City or Tenochtitlan, and that's where they built their empire from there. They did encounter other natives that lived there already, and they did have to do a lot of bartering and trading, but then they got kind of tired of it and they decided to conquer everybody around them. So so that's how they became the Aztec Empire.
We're not friends anymore.
No,
Now you're taking
too much corn. That's it. We're gonna grow our own corn, and you're gonna be our slaves. That's
work for us.
You're gonna work for us for free. And so that's usually what it is, and that's why their god is a god of war, because as They were definitely warlike people. Okay. So anyway, they use these calendar systems that were already established by the other tribes in that location, and because it worked perfectly for them, they actually used it for their own calculations and things like that. But they also refined it. There was a lot of things that were missing from the calendar, like a lot of the explanations for the day signs energies, as well as what planet was in alignment with that, and to include the ceremonies. Okay, so they had their own tradition, their own explanation for these things. The second calendar that they use is the Tonalpohualli, which is the day count calendar, which is a divinatory tool. This is what you use to divine, the future, to understand what the energy of the day is, where you were born, what type of personality you're going to have, what your future holds. Okay, so that's what that calendar represents. So we use both of these to calculate people's, Aztec astrology. The one thing I wanted to say is that the Aztecs did not use all of the planets in our solar system because they were limited, technologically speaking, to only be able to see the inner planets. So they couldn't see Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. They could only see up to Saturn. And so they use those planets in different functions. Okay, so in our belief system, we believe that there's dual energies to everything, a masculine and feminine, a yin and a yang. And so with that being said, the gods always had a counterpart, so a god and a goddess for each planet, as well as day, as well as energy. Okay, so I'm just giving you guys a background on this so that you guys understand where the Aztec mind is when it comes to Aztec astrology. Okay. So we're going to break down Mike's Aztec astrology. He was born June 11th, right?
Yep.
11th, 1990, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just making sure that that's correct. All right, so because he was born that day and that year, again, the Aztec Tonalpohualli and the Xiuhpohualli do not skip days, do not skip months based on the Gregorian calendar. Like there is leap years, there are, things like that. That doesn't happen with the Tonalpohualli. It just continues on, okay?
Awesome.
And so because of that, there's going to be like differences in, where you're born according to that calendar. Okay. So Mike would be in a different location than June. Okay. And so it'll be like, I think 2 months after or something like that. Let me just look. So his energy will be based on that point in the calendar itself. Okay. So we're going to look at your day sign. Your day sign is for Osomatli, which is for monkey. So there's 20 day signs. Okay. There's 20 Tonalpohuallis, Tonalis in the Tonalpohualli calendar. Okay. And so because there's 20, it continues on until the end of the last day. It's the 20th day, and then it goes back to 1, and so it goes back to those different, so it continues to rotate over and over and over again. Okay, so he was born in 4 Osomatli, the day of 4 Osomatli. People who are born in this particular time frame are usually very modest and charming, very charismatic, but they're super adaptive when it comes to situations. They're very aware of their surroundings. They're very aware of what needs to happen and how they need to pretty much mesh or go with the flow when it comes to situations. So there's a lot of situational awareness with these people. And so they're able to adapt easily to change, to situations that come forth. And even when it comes to difficulties in life, they're able to adapt and overcome easily. Okay, it's not like, it's pretty much not difficult for you guys to do so. And so another thing about these people who are born under this particular time and day sign is that they're naturally inclined to beauty. They're naturally flirtatious and seductive, as well as they're interested in, you know, the simplicity of natural things, the simplicity of beauty and pleasantries, you know. And so they really like to be surrounded by like-minded people, but also to understand the simplicity of the life itself, like to just understand, okay, we're here on earth together, you know, why we might as well get along, you know. It's things like that. So little pleasantries here and there, okay.
Right.
But they usually do not like to really divulge too much of themselves. They're very quiet when it comes to that. It really takes them a while for them to be open to really telling people who they are at a soul level. It does take them a while, but it does depend on the trust that they have, a level of trust to certain people to divulge certain information, some certain intimate information, things like that. So it does take them a while, and so they too do tend to be seen as superficial when it comes to like pleasantries, like I said before. Like they're just like, hey, what's up, you know, whatever, you know, how's the weather, da, 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 da. And to other people, especially people who want to dig, you know, want to get to know them, want to uncover who they really are and things like that. And so they're not very open when it comes to that, unless it's the right person and they've have trust in them and they've known them for a very long time. So, and another thing with this energy is that they are very fiery when it comes to passion. Okay, so passion in every respect of the word. So they tend to really go for their goals if they're passionate about them. They tend to really be in love with someone if they're really passionate about them, you know, and things like that. So anything that fuels their fire, they are very receptive to. If it doesn't fuel their fire, they don't care. They're just like, so another thing about this is we're going to look at the number 4 and the energy of the number 4 in relation to the energy of monkey. So the number 4 is the energy of stability. It's an energy of comfort and balancing. It is also about the 4 directions, the 4 cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, and bringing them together for balance, as well as the 4 elements. So air, water, fire, and earth. Okay. And because of this, it is a very frequency that is super grounded. It's a frequency that establishes both, you know, freedoms as well as expressions of boundaries. It is a creative energy that no matter what happens, it is going to continue on. Okay. So those born under this energy can truly see the bigger picture and are able to reflect and understand the deeper meanings of life itself. And because they have witnessed it in so many different levels of that word. So these people with the number 4 are definitely very much a force to be reckoned with, because they always seek balance. They always seek to incorporate every aspect of themselves without muting it, okay, without reserving themselves. Okay, so that another thing, the boundaries, it will be the boundaries between things, between the elements. Okay, so in the medicine wheel we have 4 directions. We have the 4 boundaries that, you know, that move from each direction as well as each element. And so the number 4 represents that. That's the only boundary that there is. But in truth and reality, there really is none. Okay, and those who are born under the 4 energy know this. So they push the boundaries, I would say. So the everyday sign has a deity who is in charge of the day signs energy. So it gives the life force energy of the day itself. So the governing deity for Osomatli number 4 for Michael is Xochipilli, which is the flower prince, the god of flowers, of pleasures of life, feasting, comfort, and beauty, and pretty much the party god. Okay, he likes to party. He really enjoys life. He's all about beautifying the home as well as the self, as well as indulging in the pleasures of life in every sense of that word. So the only thing that you need to watch out is the overindulgence of that, of being too distracted to go for your goals, or being too distracted, or having a problem with enmeshment that happens sometimes. So that's the only thing that you need to look out for in that sense of the word. So just be careful with that.
That reminds me of Venus, and Venus rules my chart.
With losing yourself, I would say, with losing yourself in someone else's world. That's the only thing that you're going to have to watch out for, or being influenced by someone else's point of view, things like that. So for him, the ruling planet, because he is definitely connected, it is Venus, and so when he but if he overindulges, it can be Mars, because it becomes destructive energy.
Okay.
And so very like destructive, destroyal type of quality energy. And so the positive is Venus, the negative is Mars in his energy. But
We start watering plants now.
Right, growing your own little garden, beautifying your home.
Imagine if that was my ability, I could just pull flowers out of thin air, just like, here's hibiscus.
You see women at all.
Right. I got just the flower for you. It's my favorite. How did you know?
Oh shoot, I forgot to record. Let me just give me permission to record. I forgot to record because I want to upload this to my channel too.
Nice. Let's see. Boom. There you go.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Okay. So, oops. Let me move this over and record. Awesome. Okay. So there is also a Lord of the Night for each day. Okay. And it's only 9 of them, 9 Lords of the Night. So they keep rotating until, the whatever month or year, whatever is over. Okay.
And that's within a 20-day cycle too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you have the 13-day cycle, which is a week. I always think of it as a week. And that has its own energy, as well as a number that coincides with that. And then it changes to, like, say you get, like today we have one Olin. We're in one Olin right now, which is movement forward. It's like a rotating circle. And so I always see it as like the wheel of fortune, as well as the chariot energy, because it's moving forward and because it has a circle deity. And so one Olin is 13-day period, and then it goes from 1 to 2 some other sign, okay? And then go so on and so forth until it's all the 20. And then it goes actually not 20, and then it goes to Olin like later on, like years from now, things like that. So it's just a continuous cycle. It's continually moving and moving forward. So your Lord of the Night, in charge of the hours of the night, is the 8th Lord of the Night, Tepeyoloto, who is a jaguar energy. And he is called the Heart of the Mountain, the star-spotted jaguar, meaning that his coat, instead of having spots, it's stars. And then he is also the Lord of Animals, so nature, as well as caves and echoes. And he's one of the many faces of the god of karma, Tezcatlipoca. And so this god of karma, Tezcatlipoca, is a god of time, the night, sorcery, and change through conflict. So that's the karma. And so he represents him, okay? He represents the truth, okay? Revelation of the truth in the darkness. So kind of like coming from darkness to light, okay? So that's what he represents, and he's the Lord of the Night for you. And so he teaches you about knowledge that is found in beyond, looking beyond the surface of things, okay? So actually looking into the root causes and issues of what's going on in your life and things like that. So he really has a different approach to it. It's more of a compassionate approach compared to the other phases of Tezcatlipoca. Because the other ones are more forceful. Like the other ones are like, I'm going to show you the truth, even you don't want to see it, you know, like the truth or whatever. And he's more like, hey, let's gain wisdom from this, you know, let's really understand where this is coming from and be compassionate with ourselves when it comes to these situations. And so he's definitely a healer type of energy. And so you could finally end and close these cycles, okay? And so Tepeyoloto, another good thing about him is that his ruling planet is Jupiter, by the way. And so you gain the wisdom from these situations, and you.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt you really quick?
Yeah.
The ruler, I know you're saying the eighth lord's ruler is Jupiter, and the lord of my eighth house in my chart is actually Jupiter too.
Yes! That's funny.
I thought that was
See how they coincide, like kind of like mesh together. So because you gain wisdom from all of the stuff that you've been through or whatever, you're able to apply it in a different way. You're able to apply that wisdom as knowledge, as well as teaching people about certain situations that you've gone through before, and even seeing the patterns in people and helping them out through that, those tough transitions or tough cycles that they're going through. And so this is kind of like a big healer energy too, because Tezcatlipoca is, you know, a sorcerer. He changes things from one element to the next. And Tepeyoloto, being one of his faces, can assist you in that too, and can assist you assist other people to see things in that way, where they learn from their mistakes. Well, I don't like saying the word mistake, because truthfully, nobody makes a mistake. It's what you had to learn in order for you to grow, okay? And so he helps you with that, with understanding this better, and to gain that knowledge and wisdom so that you can teach other people the same thing, so that you can help them heal these patterns that you healed within yourself. And so that's why the eighth lord of the night is pretty awesome. I love that guy. So you're in a 13-day cycle. Like I said, it's kind of like a week that you were born into. So the 13-day cycle is comprised by the 20 day signs, okay? And so it starts with a number 1, ends with, you know, whatever number, and it continues. Like I said, it's a continuous cycle. So in the 13-day cycle, you were born into 1 Tochitli, and that is a rabbit. So 1 rabbit. So the rabbit energy is definitely prevalent in your particular Aztec astrology, because you were also born into the where is it? I wrote it down right here somewhere. Oh yeah. So you were also born into there's 4 periods that are a year, okay? So you're born into the 4 rabbit as well in that calendar, and this energy is all about new beginnings, okay? So the rabbit's energy is about new beginnings. It's associated with change. This is also because it's in the 13-day cycle, it does bring about change, but change in a way that might be like frustrating, I would say, for a lot of people. it can be kind of like a great risk with trying to move forward in something, especially with money, especially with something that has been established, like societal, things, constructs and stuff that have been established for a very long time. And then the energy of change that tends to destroy it. And then you have to build from there, right? You have to begin all over again. And so that's what the 13-day period that you were born into kind of like pushes, is if something's not working out, if societal structures are not working out for the best of all, then they are going to be destroyed. Okay, and so that's what Rabbit brings about in this particular energy, is encouraging change in a little bit of a forceful way. So because it's under the number one represents unity. Okay, it is the first aspect of creation, meaning that it's the first thought of creator. Okay, in our cosmology, creator is a force that is mental. And so when the creator created the world or the universe or material stuff, it was thought into creation. Okay. And so the number one represents that, okay, the thought process or the creation. And it also represents unity, because the number one strives to unite itself with other things. It is continuously moving towards that creation of something new. Okay? And that being said, this force is a flow of energy. And if you use this energy, you're able to create the life that you desire instantaneously. Okay. So it's definitely a work of finding a way to work with other people. It's very social energy. So you kind of have to unite with others, with other people's energies to create something beautiful. Okay. If anything happens to it, like if there's like a bump in the road, or if there's something that is pushing against it, it's against its creative flow, it is gonna continue to meet these challenges regardless, and it's going to continue to move forward in any means necessary. It doesn't give up. Okay. So that's why it has the highest potential to create extraordinary things. And so you, as being born, and it's not only you, but other people who are born under this 13-day period of one rabbit, that's who they are. Like, they're just a force to be reckoned with. Like, it's just like, they're going to create regardless. Like, no matter how many haters they have, they're going to continue on. Yeah. You can't stop them.
Facts. This is facts.
And so we're going back. We're going to go into who governs this particular 13-day period, and that is the deity Sitekutli, who is called the Lord of the Year. He is also known as the turquoise god, as well as the god of fire, volcanoes, the personification of life after death. He is also thought as the oneness, or the creator source. So Ometeotl in our dialogue or dialect. This has dual energy. This has both masculine and feminine energy, and he resides in the middle of the world. And so in the Aztec mind, the middle of the world was actually the northern star. And because it was one of the brightest stars at night, they really did use the northern star for a lot of things. And so because of that, he represents that energy. He also represents the sacrificial god of fire in the fire ceremonies that were done every 52 years in the specific year of Acatl 2, or read number 2. And he does have a totem animal, or the form of a fire serpent. So it's like, I always think of like dragon energy with him, and also seraphim energy. And so he represents that, as well as the patron ruler of all the gods. Okay. And so those who were rulers in the Aztec world, like all of their leaders were supposedly the incarnation of this god. Okay, so his energy that governs this 13-day period is definitely a kind of like I would say a motivator energy that motivates those born in this 13-day period to really step into their true power, really step into their leadership roles. And so they really do feel like kings on earth, like even though they're not, they really do feel like they're rulers of their domain. And so that's because this God's energy backs it up, and so I think I've told you this before about your energy and like past lives and things like that, where you've been through these stages with these different rulership, I would say status as a ruler, as a king before, an emperor, things like that. And so it does really have this connection to a past life for you in particular.
Right.
And because you're born into this cycle, even though technically you aren't, I would say, officially in this material world a ruler, but you technically are, because you are the peace dealer. You have your own domain that you rule over.
Mhm. I'm
know
technically self-made Taurus rising, so
yeah, you
yeah.
are.
And then I just realized life after death technically would be Sagittarius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with that being said, the life after death thing. So there's a ceremony that you fall under, and it's usually under. I think it's under him too. Let's see. Yeah. So you were born under the months in the calendar. So if we look at the Gregorian calendar that we're used to, if we continued on the cycles without skipping days, without skipping months or years or whatever, if we use the Tonal Pohuali today, it would fall under this week. October 7th to the 26th. And so this is the sacred month of the festival of all the gods,
Ooh.
or the return of the gods. Okay. And so in this festival in particular, he was the one that was in charge of it because he was the god of all gods. And then, of course, the other god that falls under this current festival is the god of war, Huitzilopochtli. And so, kind of two like burning energies here, like two really like star energies too, because Huitzilopochtli, even though he was the god of war, he was also representing of the sun god as well. The sun gods have different phases, different gods that represent them too. And then, of course, the northern star, being a star, is somehow a sun if there are planets that like rotate around it. So that being said, you're born under 3 Pohuali, which is the sacred year of the number 3, and 12th month, Teotleku. Okay. And so that's what the festival was all about. So it's from October 7th to the 26th. So we're in it right now. So might be why there's so much intensity as well. Like it's definitely like battling it out. Like the gods are battling it out. Like, because that's how the Aztecs actually perceived their gods too. They had to make sure that they kept peace between them. So they gave them different days to rule. And that's why they're like, oh, let's not have them fight anymore. Let's give them different days to, rule and just be distracted. And so it does feel like this battling of wills around this time frame right now, especially because of all the crazy transits going on right now. So that being said, in your particular energy, based on this, there is a reason why a lot of things that you've gone through, especially when it came to like when you were a child, like the uniqueness that you brought to your family. You're kind of like the only kid, I would say, that really imagined himself as beyond who he was, and really portrayed that, or tried to use that imagination and was motivated by even watching like heroes in like TV shows and things like that, and you're just like, I am, like, I am this hero, too, like I am awesome too, and because of that, because this ruler energy is definitely behind that, like sense of like, I am an authority figure, I am a ruler, I am a king, I am a god.
Before Abraham was, I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so that's why these crazy energies that are behind you. You have like Jupiter, then you have the northern star, you have Mars, you have Venus, it's like all of these planets, and even the sun, all of these planets are behind you, and the deities who rule these planets are kind of like pushing and motivating you to be who you are without hesitation and without apology. So that's why I like this Aztec astrology, because it actually digs into that. And then also because in the karmic cycle of your life, you had to really learn to adapt and overcome, especially when it came to personalities who were very, I would say, as a matter of fact type of personalities. And you're like in the fantasy world, like, and then they're like, as a matter of fact, trying to correct you or trying to pull you back down to earth, and so
Right.
you have a difficulty with people like that, or you did when you were a kid, and you had to learn to adapt to those types of personalities. You had to learn how to talk with them so that they could leave you alone, pretty much. So that's why you're so good at really communicating with people, even with people who a lot of people might think are difficult, who might be like someone that people don't like, and things like that. You already know how to communicate with them. That there's substance behind them. There's something behind them that is there, and or within them. You see that before anybody else does. You kind of sense it. And so you try to really make friends with these personality types, even though other people might tell you like, oh, why are you friends with that person? Or
This is very true. This
and
is
you're
very
just like,
true.
what? Like everybody gets an equal share. Like everybody, is able, like first impressions are not everything, and so that's why your personality is like that, is to really uncover who these people are and give them a chance. Okay. And so in another karmic cycle, it's the same thing with relationships too. I would say the divine feminine. You will find that the divine feminine that's supposed to be with you has a similar road, where it feels like she's very empathic, in a sense where she does tend to have the same, like similar type of upbringing, as well as the similar type of personality when it comes to the way that they perceive the world and humans, where they understand like the creation of all things. They understand unity, consciousness, and they see it in everybody. Okay. And so that being said, both of you guys will unite together and create something very beautiful that is, you know, that is really far reaching, meaning that is opening doors for everyone, not
Wow.
just certain people, but everyone. Okay. And so it's definitely a unifying energy that you both are gonna create together,
You know
where
what's amazing? Right when you said divine feminine, I like as you were saying that, I went on Instagram. Like I didn't even my phone just moved on its own, and this is the first thing I see like on a tattoo.
oh wow.
I was like, it must be this one. That's wild.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's definitely going to be like especially with your business, it's definitely going to be about unifying people, about understanding one another, about having a dialogue in order for that to happen, as well as about really seeing the world through other people's eyes, and helping people do the same. Sometimes we get situations that we just don't want to see someone else's point of view because we're angry or resentful and things like that. And you're more of like, you never really felt that type of like you really never felt it, like it's kind of like something that you've never really had to
Never
deal,
felt what?
like resentment or anger.
Anger. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never been
yeah, you
angry.
never
I've been
ever.
frustrated, but I've
Yeah,
never been like really, really
exactly.
angry. Yeah.
Not a part of you like, because you just know things at a higher level, and so the same thing with her, she's the same way, and she just never had hate or anger or resent towards another human being because she just knew things at a higher level. And so that's why she's going to be the perfect partner. It's going to be magical, and I can't wait.
She exists. Oh my gosh. I'm convincing myself she doesn't exist and I'm gonna be single forever. So thank you. This is perfect.
But yeah, so
Great.
I always tap into people's divine counterparts. I always just able to just catch a glimpse of them. Like with Kanuta or whatever, Nuta. I actually gave him like descriptions of possible mates and he found them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he found them. I was just like, go on that app. Go on, like you're gonna have a Cancer, and then there's gonna be a Leo, and then there's gonna be like these other things like that, and then a Virgo and a Scorpio, and then he fucking found them. He's like, what the fuck? So it's like he's still talking to people or whatever, but it's like he found possible mates, and I told him, I was like, you're gonna find them on these apps. So I recommend the same thing for you.
True, true.
Like put yourself out there if you want to you know have her come in. So yeah. So anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's like there's never been really harsh karmic cycles for you in particular, because it's kind of like the evolution that you've gone through different past lives, especially with this personal like placement in the Aztec calendar. It doesn't feel like this life is going to be hard, like in the sense of like you're going to be like out on the streets and like things like that, like at all. Like it feels like you definitely have you're like at a higher elevation or evolution in your soul's growth. Okay, and so this is definitely a teaching evolution of the wise mentor type of lifestyle that you're gonna end up or you are really in that right now. So you're in that because you just started the 30s, so you're right there. And so I would say not even a few years you're gonna end up being in the place that you want to be. Okay, so keep working towards that. You're like, I want to be a millionaire, then it's gonna happen. It's definitely, yeah, it's definitely self-made. This is the life that is definitely in so many ways, because you have to have this. You have to have this because you're going to be here to assist many, many souls in whatever it is that they need assistance with. And that's why you have to have everything else that is supportive of this mission. And that's why it's in a higher evolution in this lifetime. And so it's clear right here in the calendar itself, because of the main one that's supporting you, which is the God of all gods. And
Oh,
so,
so that's the main one. I didn't even
yeah,
know that.
yeah,
Okay.
yep.
So
And so
this isn't the day lord or the night lord. This is
he
another.
he is for the 13-day period. So whoever falls under that 13-day period of your like particular Gemini-ish energy. So you got June 11th. So it lasts 13 days. Okay. So I think it's since you are at, let's see, what is the time?
I know
You're
the
in the
the
middle of it. Yeah, you're in the middle of it. So you're in the middle, and then you have other people born the same year, same month, different days. in front of you and then behind you. So those souls are in that same energy.
Cool. And
So
that's our main like person.
yeah, it's the main deity that supports your energy. And so it's a creator energy. Like I said, number one represents creation or creator, flow of creation. And so it's always going to try to combine with other forces, so socializing, meeting new people to create something, you know. And so you're always looking for a secondary force. And so that does kind of resonate with that partnership that's going to come in with your divine feminine. It's like you from one and one to two, and
Uh,
then from two to creating whatever it is that you guys are going to create together.
that's awesome.
So it's the divine, you know, partnership or divine coupling that's going to happen. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
because this guy, this god has a divine counterpart. Remember, there's always two energies that
Yeah.
combine, you know, with the gods.
This God of gods has a divine counterpart.
Yeah. So the divine feminine, he's the divine masculine. He has a divine feminine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Every god has one, of course, but
right.
this one's the ultimate one, the creators of the other gods and us. So
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
So this is pretty cool. I like that I saw this because I was like, holy shit, no wonder that makes sense. No wonder you're like, you know, like you feel very like your life feels like it's very much going the right way. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it might not feel that way, and especially because you're the divine feminine is not in it yet, but you're going towards that, and you everything else is satisfied, you know, like everything else, all your needs are satisfied, you know, when it comes to success, when it comes to you know, intellectual growth, as well as any type of stimuli that you've you know, had in your life. It's very satisfactory, and it feels like you're definitely I would say lucky.
I'm grateful. I definitely say
Yeah, and so that being said, you know, the only thing that is still out there is the divine feminine, but you're
the
not
only thing.
and so you're definitely, yeah, you're definitely lucky in the way that you were, the family you chose to come in, as well as the way that you perceive everything. You don't really limit yourself. You don't really have any, I would say, like issues in the sense that you can't overcome them, you know. And so that's pretty cool because it's really apparent here in the Aztec astrology too, and I'm sure it's apparent in your Western astrology chart that it's like you're like here to do something big. And so that's why everything is falling into place and in alignment perfectly. And so that's the only thing that's missing. That's it.
That's honestly what it feels like. Like I got everything going on and it's just like, but I know I'm directly blocking it because I don't go out. I realized I didn't put any lines out to even like manifest it. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of hoping one day it would happen. So
Oh, you're just gonna run into her, right? How are you gonna run into an apartment? Unless you order food.
I was lost. Can you help me? Wow.
Like that's why I told Kanuta, I was like, go out there, put it in the universe, meaning go on some dating apps, you know, put yourself out there, like go out, you know, things like that. So you can start to mingle, you know, and start to attract, you know, that divine feminine towards you. And you should too, when you're ready, of course, if you really want to.
If you really want, right? Yeah, that's true.
Because I told him it was like an astrology app in particular for dating. I'm not sure what it's called anymore. I don't remember, but he Googled it and he found it and he subscribed, and then he started talking to all these girls. And I'm like, oh, look at you. I'm so proud of him. So yeah, so he's very, because like Aquarius, you know, Aquarius is very about mental stimulation, and so you are too. And so it feels like you guys are definitely when you guys are ready and open, you guys will find someone. All right. So that's all I have for your Aztec astrology.
And what is my Aztec astrology sign?
The sign is the for your day sign in particular is the monkey Osomatli.
So I
And
have
then
the day sign, the night sign, and the 13-day sign.
so you have all of these compiled into one person. So it's kind of like the houses and the, different planets and stuff like that. So
Wait, so it's the monkey, not the flower prince.
the flower prince is the energy, it's the provider of that energy. So he's the creator of that energy of the monkey. So that's what he provides. He like fortifies the energy of the monkey, and so that's the governing deity. Okay, so it's kind of like with the gods with the planets, right? With planet Venus is Aphrodite, goddess of love, things like that. So that's what they kind of like perceived in that sense. So monkey is Xochipilli, the flower prince. So he's the god of pretty much pleasures, beauty, feasting, having fun, pretty much everything that is pleasurable in life.
That's awesome.
And yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This is not only amazing, but like it confirmed everything I downloaded the past 2 days, frighteningly. Which at this point I'm not surprised because like that was how I met you. Like there's not a single day you have not just truth bombed me. So very, very amazing. People in the chat are loving what you shared, and for those who are interested, I put her website. Please hit her up. I got her YouTube page there too. And someone said you had a sale on these. So
Yes, I do, you guys. So I am doing it for Libra season and it ends on the 22nd. So if you guys want to purchase your own personalized Aztec astrology, go to my website, www.StariAri333.com, and go under emailed readings. And you're going to find Aztec astrology there. So I pretty much put it all in a PDF file for you guys. And of course, I give you the reading via recording, and then I emailed it to you guys. So it just makes it easier to go through it if you have the PDF, instead of having to turn on my recording and having to listen all over again. So I do provide it. Original price is $80, but I am doing it for $40 for whoever is interested. And so it's on sale until the 22nd if you guys are interested. Okay. But yeah, so I am also going to start teaching, for the initiation course starting November. For those who are interested in becoming a Toltec shaman, like I am. I already initiated a group like earlier last year before this whole COVID shit happened. And so I had to pause it halfway through because of it. And so I'm going to start all over again in November. So if you guys are interested, hit me up, send me a message so I can give you guys more detail on that.
I'll definitely be a part of that for sure.
Because we're going to go initiate, and I was actually dreaming this, and all this information came in. So we're going to initiate in Sedona for next year. And so if you guys really want to have a good excuse to go to Sedona, then there it is. Yeah, last time we initiated in Colorado, and it was such a beautiful location too. I was out of breath because it's a higher altitude. But it was really magical.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, it is. Like, literally, I'm like, oh.
A lot of people want to see you come back, so you definitely will. This is shout out to Jax. Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, Jaxie Poo.
The triune will return. The divine.
Yeah, we have to meet up one of these days and just do like triune readings and channeled messages for whomever. But yeah, you guys, I'm glad. I was happy to be here. Thank you, Mike, for having me. And I'll send you this via email too, so you can have more information so that you can go through it and stuff.
Will do. Thank you so much.
All right.
And yeah, I guess we can end this here.
All
Y'all
right.
stay blessed as well.
Bye-bye.